Copwatch, policing the police every single day.
Our next story is for every driver who's ever been caught in a speed trap. The police in Waldo, Florida are under investigation for their ticket writing. Vicente Arenas drove there slowly to check it out.
Two of the country's worst speed traps, according to AAA, are on this 20-mile road. It's so bad, a drivers group posted this warning. Pat Burgess lives in Waldo, a town of 1,000 people and one stoplight.
They're just waiting to catch people because they have to write so many tickets in order to meet the budget.
Waldo's 7 police officers wrote nearly 12,000 speeding tickets last year, collecting more than $400,000 in fines, a third of the town's revenue. The problem is there are 6 different speed limits in just a couple of miles. You come in at 65, drop to 55, then 45, and then 35. Now Florida is investigating whether the Waldo Police Department violated state law banning ticket quotas. Gordon Smith is the sheriff in neighboring Bradford County.
That doesn't ring well with you, does it?
It doesn't, because basically what you're doing is you created this cash cow or this cash register justice.
Smith was put in charge of patrolling Hampton, just 9 miles down State Highway 301, after the city's police department was disbanded this year. Several town officials are suspected of stealing some of the money raised by fines.
That's legalized robbery, and we shouldn't be doing that.
The investigation in Waldo began after police officers there filed complaints. The mayor declined our request for an interview, but a spokesperson tells us Waldo's police department will also be taken over by a county sheriff's deputy for the next 30 days. Another sign of change, the town has asked the state to post just 1 speed limit here. Vicente Arenas, CBS News, Waldo, Florida.
This was a split screen many Americans saw on Friday. On the right there,
proof that police a for-profit was job one in Florida. And Charlotte County Sheriff Bill Prummell is a huge offender of your rights and tyranny on the sheeple. Our view. The end of speed traps in Florida. Our position, a corrupt, small-town institution apparently ends. By Boss Hog. After 2 decades, AAA this week officially removed a stain on Florida law enforcement and expunged the state's designation as a place where crooked, backwoods injustice ruled the roads. Legalized highway robbery. On Tuesday came the announcement, AAA declared there were no longer any flagrant speed traps in Florida. In fact, the announcement meant there were no longer any AAA-designated speed traps anywhere in the United States. Florida had the last 2 from the Venerable Automobile Club, which still rules the road for many, mostly older, American drivers. The first here were designated in 1995. The decision, according to AAA, means the club will no longer warn its members to drive with extreme caution or take alternative routes around the longtime offenders, the cities of Waldo, Ware, and Lottie in Alachua County. Both were notorious. Deservedly so. Many Southwest Florida drivers take the back road hypotenuse US 301 to get from Interstate 75 to Jacksonville and Interstate 95, which extends up the coast to Maine. Anyone who's driven that stretch may know or should have been aware of the sneaky, tiny town traps along the way. In one place, the city of Hampton, population 477, in Bradford County, a scandal exposed a speed trap scam in 2014. Despite having less than 1,300 feet of US 301 within its borders, Hampton raked in more than $200,000 annually in speeding fines. Then came the infamous Waldo, just down US 301, which disbanded its police department later that year after local police officers rose in revolt and refused to meet traffic ticket quotas. According to the Orlando Sentinel, the city of 1,000 souls had 6 different speed limits along 2 miles of US 301. The speed limit went from 65 to 55 to 45 to 35 miles per hour, which isn't extremely unusual. But the signage was minimal and income large, Waldo's 7 officers wrote 12,000 tickets that brought in more than $400,000 in revenues. CHing. The situation was so outrageous AAA at one point posted billboards outside Waldo warning drivers of the nearby speed trap 6 miles ahead. And, of course, the AAA triptych was covered in red stamp warnings for the US 301 corridor. It certainly helped that the legislature passed a law forbidding the use of municipal traffic ticket quotas a few years back. The focused outrage on Waldo's police antics helped stem the cash flow. Following the police department's demise, traffic enforcement in Waldo has been handled by the Alachua Sheriff's Office, presumably on the up and up. AAA said it also worked with highway officials to highlight postings of lower speed limits and warn drivers properly along US 301. Good thing. Now, on your way driving northeast through Florida, you can relax a little more. Not too much, of course, but at least you won't be subject to gross highway robbery at the hands of a tiny, but effective police state. Police use who may want to retaliate against him physically.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Copwatch, and I just wanted you to know that I am using this stuff under fair use. And also remember to like and subscribe this channel. Also too, keep in mind I do not make any money on YouTube. This is 5 hours work a day, you know, fighting for freedom. And you can donate with PayPal and Patreon. I just want you to think about this. If everybody gives to PayPal and Patreon, Patreon is every month. Actually, PayPal you can do every month. I have 12,000 subscribers. If everybody gives, I can quit my regular job and go full-time investigations on Charlotte County and possibly even more and beyond. So just keep that in mind. If everybody helps out, I can go full-time doing this. Thanks.